Battle droid army units are deploying in mass on the planet of Ryloth, accompanied by hundreds of vehicles and light armored droid troopers as well. Their main objective is to squash Captain Rex's super fortress. This fortress, though, is the largest walled fortress we have ever seen in the Clone Wars. Hundreds of clone troopers of the 501st Legion rest within its walls. However, the droids do have a trick up their sleeves. Their gunship airdropping in commandos onto the cliff walls above the clone fortress walls to try and snipe out the clones hiding behind the cover. Can the droid army destroy Captain Rex's clone defenses, or will they all die trying? If you guys do enjoy this video, please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and comment down below what other battles you guys would like to see in the future. Either way, let's get right on into this Men of War Assault Squad 2 Star Wars Galaxy at War mod battle. Alrighty then, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go in slow-mo for the start of this because there are thousands of droids attacking and hundreds of clones defending, and slow motion makes the FPS a little bit better. We've got two massive turbo laser cannons up top of the fortress that are already firing out at some of these HMP droid gunships here. Taking out those gunships is going to be vital because they will be able to shoot over the walls and down onto the clone troopers defending them. I also did notice the droid super tank there did launch a few missiles, one of them hitting just under the turbo laser cannon right there, and others striking out over here in some of the forward clone positions, because the 501st does have a few sub walls in front of the main fortress to slow down the droids and try and get a few extra kills before the main wall fortress defense has to come into play. We also have on the far right side over here a small canyon defense, which already is getting obliterated. However, over here this canyon is so small that we weren't able to fit any MTTs or AATs or tri-droids, anything like that. It is only super battle droids, dwarf spider droids, and droidica, so only the smaller of the droid tank-ish units coming through, no standard infantry and no heavier weapons, but these guys seem to be doing great on their own as they've wiped out most of the clones over here. There is of course still the main wall behind them that's still very strong, but they are being flanked by the droids in the gunships above. So these big boy gunships have dropped off their commando droids, who are getting to work against the clone wall defenses from above. Many of them already dead on the battlefield though, but one of the droid squads over this way on, sorry about the lag, on this wall actually has two mortars. Two Star Wars mortar cannons that they're going to be firing away, and these suckers, they never scream Star Wars to me, but they are canonical within Star Wars. They appear in The Mandalorian, and I think maybe once or twice in the Clone Wars there are mortars, so they do exist in the Star Wars universe. It's just so weird to have a laser mortar, because you think laser should be a straight shot that has no curvature, but a mortar implies complete curvature. It's something that shoots up and then comes down, and that's what this gun does in the Galaxy at War mod, but with a laser beam. And there's one of the shots right there exploding down below against the clone. So it's just a weird piece of tech for the Clone Wars in general, I will say. This outer wall getting absolutely shredded by those mortars. What I will say about the mortars, though, is they have a very small range of fire ability, so they'll probably... Real quick, huge thank you to Instant Gaming for sponsoring this video. They have literally the best deals in gaming. I use it all the time. If you like Star Wars games, Lego Star Wars for $2. Star Wars Battlefront 2 for $9. One of my favorite Star Wars games, Jedi Knight Jedi Academy, $1.70. If you want to play the Star Wars Galaxy at War mod, Men of War Assault Squad 2, $3. Extremely popular games can be up to 99% off. Link in the description below. Thank you to Instant Gaming for sponsoring the channel. Thank you guys for watching. Let's get into the video. It'd be effective for the start of the battle when there's a lot of clones everywhere, and then as we get going here, all of a sudden they'll be no longer viable to actually fight on the battlefield. We've got a couple of downed HMPs, actually a bunch of downed HMPs. The turbo laser cannons have been completely exploded, so those are off of the battlefield. All of the droids should have been deployed now by the MTTs, and I believe we also have quite a number of dead droidika and super battle droid and things like that, but they don't leave bodies behind when they do go down, so we just won't know. An HMP running straight into the clone defenses right there. That's one way to kill clone troopers, I guess. A little bit of a kamikaze mission right there, but it is what it is. We've got more droids kind of lurking on the exterior of this outer base over here. The outer base somehow still alive. I'm actually kind of shocked. They've survived super tank arsenals. They've survived tri-droids sniping in at them. All of the ground infantry, HMPs. It is quite astonishing that there are this many clones within this area still alive currently. If we turn around, though, the outer defenses, like at this little lat bay over here, they're getting absolutely crushed. I know the clones have a bunch of rocket troopers, but none of them are right here to help out against these AATs that are pushing in. Maybe on the wall over there we might have a few rocket troopers, but they are very needed right now as the AATs just start to shred these outer defenses. Absolutely. It is rough over here. These inner clone wall defenses still putting up a very nice fight against the droid heavier units. I don't really know what to call them. They're not tanks, but they're not infantry really. The super battle droids, droidika, as well as the dwarf spider droids, they're doing a good job against them. You can see all of the explosive marks from where they have died. Bodies don't get left over from these guys, but at the very least we could kind of see where they've died, and there was a lot more to start. So the wall defense over here has done a very nice job. I do see a rocket trooper did die over there. That's going to be a big loss for these clones. Without the rockets, they're not going to be able to do much. A rocket trooper does snipe out a super battle droid way over there, though, getting a kill. My cat is trying to climb onto my mic stand. What are you doing, brother? Why are you doing this? We do, of course, have interior walls for the clones as well. So these are still untouched over here. These are untouched over here, and I noticed that they were doing a lot of fire out at the the commando droids up there. And then, of course, we have the interior wall defense where Captain Rex is chilling right here, and this is the escape shuttle in case all goes wrong. Very nice. I am very curious, actually, how well the mortars are doing. Okay, this one only has 2 kills. This one has 9. So they are having an impact on the battlefield, but they're not exactly doing amazing or anything like that. I would say even the commando droids that are coming up onto the cliff walls and sniping are probably having more effect than those mortars ever could right now. But maybe the mortars later on will find their shot, get a little bit more accurate, and start to really shred clones. Never say never when it comes to mortars. They can be so devastating, especially in Men of War Assault Squad 2. In Gates of Hell, they're way weaker, but in Men of War Assault Squad 2, they are extremely pinpoint accurate. We do have this inner wall over here that is just destroying a lot of these commando droids. That is good to see. And realistically, it seems like the clones are doing horribly here. They're not, because they still have so many wall choke points with which to hold the main droid lines. So these commandos, if they all falter and die without wiping out this entire wall or these entire walls on the top right side over there, then the rest of the droid army is going to be absolutely cooked. These guys are vital. This airborne raid is vital to the droid lines. We have more AATs still kind of putzing about over here. Somehow, there's still 501st clones alive down this way. I think maybe the AATs just can't really shoot them when they're on top of those clones, and then the droid infantry is more fixated on the back line over here still. Massive explosions! Goodness gracious. Yeah, we still have a few different 501st troopers defending this interior bit somehow. I have no idea how. That is honestly kind of insane. There's only like 5 or 6 of them though, but the fact that they are still alive over here is very promising. Getting some kills on the wall there from some rock climbing droids. They free soloed that wall, bro. And then we've got some droids coming in the flank over here now, and then over there, that super seems to be coming this way, so that could be very dangerous. More dead HMPs over this way. I think all of the gunships are now dead, I believe. This area, we still have all of these droids pushing forward. Most of them just kind of doing that suppressive fire on the wall, but we do have these guys really pressing forward. And the wall here is actually mostly dead. There's still a bunch over there, but beyond just the guys on the ground over here, there's not much to actually defend this wall left over. I think that's thanks to these commando droids over this way for sure. The wall down on this side seems to start getting more and more suppressed as we go on. These commandos up top definitely doing some serious damage to them, but no one's actually coming through the front door just yet. These guys are like distracted by something. Oh, there's one clone up here and all of these droids are distracted by him. That is crazy. Good luck for the clones, and hopefully that guy stays alive for a while, because that will prevent any assaults from over here for quite some time. This side, actually, there's still a bunch of troopers over here, too. I didn't even realize these guys were over here. Okay. Clones on this side might be able to do a little something still. I mean, these things are very, very derpy, to be honest. Sometimes they kind of lose track of their objective and just, like, walk into a wall like these guys, or stop firing like these guys. So they're not the most reliable of units, but they can still do some things, especially at the start of battles. But as we go on, they might become more and more useless. The distractors over this way are still distracting. How are there troopers over here still? Also, these droids are right up against them, so I have a feeling this might be it for these clone troopers. The droids hopefully take a few more losses than just 2 right there. There we go. There we go. Point blanking into those droid faces. That was absolutely gorgeous. And they're also getting some kills way out here. So that is not too bad. Oh, did I just see rockets? What was that? What was that? I don't know what that was. Okay. Where's the super tank? Oh, it's right here. The super tank, you are facing the wrong way, my friend. We've also still got clones out here. Okay, the droids seem to be derping for real right now. They have no idea what they're doing. Oh, a mortar shell finally did something. Look at that. That's like 8 kills. Holy cow. All right, that entire wall getting collapsed. And now these clones over here are just free firing into the droids across from them. So at least we still have some more Guardians of the Interior to go through before the clones call it quits on this defense. So that's great. That AAT is fully airborne. What? If it lands upside down, that's actually going to be a kill. If it lands straight up, it might continue to fight, but if they do land upside down, the crews do bail out and they retreat. It takes out a super battle droid on the ground with it, and it does land upside down, so that will end up blowing up eventually. What is happening? Bro, and these guys are still... How are they still alive? Is the HMP, like, glitching their hitbox? Actually, that might be what's happening. The HMP might have glitched the hitbox, so these guys can't get shot with it above them, which would be absolutely absurd. Let's time-lapse these guys for a little bit, just cuz. Okay, so the other clones did die. They're definitely glitched, by the way, due to the HMP there. But we have one last clone here who is not shooting and also not getting shot. So I think this is a glitch. It'll probably work itself out at some point, but there are fights still happening elsewhere. Actually, these droids starting to come through the middle. Despite the mortar fire, there's still a bunch of clones out here holding this middle choke point, so that is nice. That's going to be a big boost to their kills for now. We've got sharpshooters out here. We've got ourselves some DC-15A troopers. We got it all, baby. We got it all. They could definitely hold this for a very decent amount of time. How's this gate doing? Alright, so droids have cleared out the interior bits over here. They don't have any standard infantry to come through here, just the heavier vehicles, so they're not going to be able to really attack until they get the B1s from over here, presumably. But that one clone is still distracting. This is absurd. Do I need to intervene? I'll give it a few more minutes before intervening, but that's just ridiculous. The commandos up top are still peeking every so often, which is actually probably a better strategy than forcing everyone forward, because they definitely lose that battle. They don't have a ton of commando droids there, but just peeking every once in a while when the clones aren't expecting it and taking a few shots is going to get them more kills, more reward for that. Let's watch this choke point for a bit as these clones kind of get suppressed and hold and get suppressed and hold. Alright, clones still holding it down. Some mortar shots did wipe out a few of them, but they do have a nice crew over here that's going to be able to hold this corner for longer, unless of course the mortar takes them out too. Mortar's still up here firing sporadically. Some of their shots hit, some of them don't. This wall still fully intact over here. Over here, mostly intact. These guys are all dead over this way, and this never sorted itself out. So I will save. Here, I'll delete one droid, one clone. Tit for tat. There you go. You guys are free from the curse. Enjoy, because that is gonna be rough once all these droids end up pushing out, because they're done with that. Let's do a nice overhead time lapse while these guys kind of remobilize, because it could take a while. Alright, so the droid infantry is mobilizing. It's just very, very slow. They're all coming up to hug the wall there and trickle in like the good bots that they are. These guys are all heading this way instead of pushing out here. We do actually have a few droids pushing in here. Let's bump it up a speed here as we really start getting going. These guys could maybe get a kill or two. It's doubtful, but like maybe. Yeah, no, they're not getting any kills. These guys notice them immediately. The commandos still kind of remain number one on the battlefield, but the problem is these guys down here, the commandos can't really kill them, it seems. And these guys are just walking in and dying. Oh, but now these guys are distracted, so they could get up there and just shoot down and kill them. Tricky. And then these guys back here are still just kind of chilling at the moment, not really doing too much. The mortar over here, they're actually pretty quiet right now. They're not doing much either. Oh, look at this. Actually, a bunch of droids coming up here now. These guys are probably cooked. And then we'll see these fellas in here start getting more and more involved on the battlefield, I think. This seems like an area that should be easily killable for the droids, but they're just not committing to it. And a lot of their vehicles are going to be... My mouse just spazzed out. A lot of their vehicles are going to become obsolete now, as they're not going to be able to fit through these choke points, so it is going to be up to the infantry, which they do still have a lot of. It's just all very spread out right now and not surging forward as one. So that's a bit of a problem. I think the next big pushes are going to be over here. These droids, looks like, yep, they finally killed these guys. So they're going to start heading through this tunnel now and interacting with them. Oh, whole lot of shots going off this way as these clones continue to take out additional commandos over there. And then the commandos over here also starting to get shot by these troopers now. So this is the big next location for the battlefield. Where did this guy come from? Has he been just laying there this whole time in the middle of the battle? Very interesting. Very, very interesting. But yeah, the final interior wall, right before Captain Rex gets involved on the battlefield, is starting to get ignited by the droids. I can see some droids leaning through over here, about to kind of peek in, but still the main fight is with the commandos. We'll see if the droid infantry can manage to really gather up. Oh, a couple dwarf spiders actually coming in here now and firing at these guys back here. They could snipe a lot of these guys out, actually, if they keep that up. We'll see if they do that. Well, let's watch this wall here and this wall here fighting against commandos there. The droid infantry that eventually comes through here. Commandos over here, and maybe some of the dwarf spiders over that way. This will be interesting. All right, pretty much all the attacks are coming from this way. Oh, big grenade against the droids right there, and they don't even notice it. Yikes. Okay, that just demolished a huge portion of their forces right there. The mortars have stopped firing, whether they ran out of ammo or they ran out of range, I'm not sure. There's not a lot of commandos left up there either, nor over here. We still have a huge number of vehicles, but that's not going to help that much. There is also a large quantity of droid infantry still alive, but they're also seriously on the struggle bus. I think this will end up being a clone victory here. It's just kind of a matter of time. We'll go full speed ahead here, and let's watch the droid POV of this intimidating wall. Clones still just dominating the battlefield. The droids are kind of incapable of doing anything right now. This clone has 22 kills, holding down the line here all by himself. Crazy. And then these clones up here obviously also cooking. Yeah, we are in normal speed. We'll go ahead and just watch these guys, but I think we have ourselves a clone victory here. Alright guys, it's been about 10 minutes and the droids just keep on kind of funneling in, but they're getting absolutely cooked. So, let's just time-lapse and watch. Okay guys, the game crashed. I don't know how it crashed. Considering we were like winding down, maybe a CIS vehicle like completely glitched out and crashed. Usually it has to do with the vehicles when you do crash the game. But it was pretty obvious the clones were just holding out at the very end over here and just absolutely decimating the droids. But they really only had like they did take some losses over here, I noticed during the time lapse. They only had, you know, maybe like 3/4 of their troops here left alive, and then a lot of these guys were dead as well, but they definitely were going to hold out, and Rex was still perfectly fine. So, clone victory! Either way, I hope you guys did enjoy this Super Fortress video. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and comment down below. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Be sure to click that subscribe button for more content, and hit the notification bell if you'd like to be alerted to whenever I live stream or upload. Thanks so much.